Hi there, friends. I'm Vasco. I'm part of the team behind the first global Scrum Master Summit. If you're a Scrum Master, the Scrum Master Summit is a place to learn, to share, and to meet new friends. We will have lots of live sessions where you can meet and network with other Scrum Masters from all over the globe. So make sure you check it at bit.ly/SM Summit and the numeral 21. That's bit.ly/SMSUMMIT21. We have 7 amazing keynotes or more, as we are still organizing the conference as I record this, and 8 tracks that feature people like you and thought leaders sharing their insights and knowledge to help you become an awesome Scrum Master. So once again, check it out at bit.ly/SM Summit 21. That's all lowercase, all one word, SM Summit and the numeral 21. I'll see you on the virtual conference floor. All right, now on to the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to one more week of the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. And this week, joining us from Boston in the US is Kamal Hans. Hi, Kamal. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Vasco.
So Kamal believes people are capable of incredible things if they have the support they need. He's at his best when he gets to connect with people, with each other and their vision, create the structure of support, build a system to achieve their goals, to accomplish bigger things than themselves. And as an Agile coach and discipline facilitator, he's worked with many global organizations like Ericsson and Bose, just to name a few. So Kamal, that was a short intro. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and how did you end up becoming a Scrum Master?
Yeah, sure, Vasco. First of all, thank you for giving me this opportunity. And I'm very glad to be here and then share my story with all of the fellow Scrum Master and then Agile practitioners. Coming back to how I started this journey, I started actually my career as a telecom engineer, and I was most of the time working with customers, helping them understand the new feature of our products. So that's how my passion to connect with people, understanding their problem, developed. And slowly I moved into a job of new product introduction manager, where I will go to the customer sites, help them understand what are the things that we have done in this new release or new product. And that was in India. Then I came to US here, and I was working for a startup. And then my company was actually acquired by a big giant company, Ericsson. And they were going through the Agile transformation at that time. And this is where I got the first taste of Agile or Scrum back in like 2010 timeframe. And I was also doing similarly kind of some training at Harvard University about my management. And then I was learning about the new ways of working, how you can be a new leader or from moving from manager to a leader. And that's where I got introduced to Scrum. And then that's where I started doing Scrum Mastery for the teams in my startup that I was working with.
Definitely a great transition to go through when you're starting as a career as a manager, and then you start to understand that it's not just about having a group of people that report to you. It is a lot more than that. It is about understanding people's motivations. It is about understanding the business impact of what we are doing and helping people achieve, as you wrote in your bio, bigger things than themselves. Now, of course, not all of the stories we go through are positive ones. And because today is Monday, we want to focus on a story of a difficult moment, because we all go through those difficult moments and we learn a lot. And we'll dive into the learnings later. But first, tell us that story, Kamal, a story of a moment when you, as a Scrum Master, you did your best, but at that time, that best just wasn't good enough. Tell us that story, Kamal.
Yeah, sure. I will actually not tell one story, 2 stories that I want to share, and both were the extremes. And then I think the failures that I learned from them was the most. So the first one is, after I started doing Scrum Master, I moved to a different organization. And then I said, I know what the Scrum Master is. I know like kind of the previous organization, I had the trust that I built it up. I knew that I had to build that trust to do whatever the work that kind of hindering their work, resolving impediment, tracking the dependencies, and really, really help them. Whatever it comes in their way, I'm gonna clean it up. That's what I was doing it. And suddenly, like, that I started feeling it, they are totally dependent on me. Like they can't, if I am not aware like of anything, balls will drop. If I'm not in the stand up, they won't do the stand up. If I like kind of everything, they are totally dependent on me. And that was the one learning that I had. I don't have to make the team or make the team totally dependent on me. So that was the one learning. Now let's talk about the next one. When I took the next team, I went to the team and then said that, hey, buddy, I'm going to go away after some time. You have to get mature by yourself. So one extreme, they are totally dependent on me. Other extreme is I told them that I'm going to go away because my role is to eliminate my own role. So you have to get mature by yourself. So every time that I go to office or talk to them, they will say, oh, we learned how to do a stand-up. We don't need you anymore in stand-up. Oh, we learned how to do the retrospective. We don't need you in the retrospective anymore. So the both were like kind of extreme. And that is the one learning that I had. Like, you need to balance it out. Of course, like you have to show them the best way of doing things, but at the same time, make them resilient. Don't solve all of their problems. Solve the problems that which you think are maybe at the start, but at the later on, let them solve their own problems. So that's the kind of a bigger learning or my failure that I have learned from.
Yeah, actually, it's great that you tell those extremes, because very often when you describe the first one, people will go like, that's obvious. You should just, step back. And then you describe the second one and people like go, that's true. You can't just, tell them that I'm going to step back because they might not be ready for you to step back. And this is, for me, one of the difficult aspects of the role of the Scrum Master is that it is upon us to decide when it is time to start stepping back. It is not upon the team, because we are the ones that are the experts on the role of the Scrum Master and what the Scrum Master needs to accomplish. At the end of the day, we're there to help the teams stand on their own 2 feet and own their process and take ownership of the removing the blockers. But we need to do that progressively. You said balance it out, right? Show them what to do, but at the same time make them resilient, help them to learn to overcome certain problems on their own. And we got a great tool, of course, that's asking powerful questions, right? So what do you think we should be doing in this situation? And then the what if when you go to the team that you depend on, they respond this way. What are you going to do? Like, those asking questions helps them to grow, to consider different perspectives, to become more independent team and team members. But that's just one tool. These days, Kamal, when you go to teams, when you're starting to work with teams, how do you approach it, and what tools do you use to help them go through that journey of becoming independent?
So in those terms, I would say I use the term called kind of a structured or models approach that I have from the integral theory, where anytime that you are coaching or helping the teams to get more mature, you need to tackle their mindset. You need to tackle how the work is funneled to them. You need to tackle their structure. And then finally, what is the other leadership around them is constructing the whole environment. So when I go into the team as a Scrum Master, so I try to create a lens for all those 4 scenarios and see the teams through those lenses and help them realize that where they are in their journey and their maturity, and later on give them a path how we can tackle one by one every lens and then be more mature in terms of getting towards agility.
So it really is about establishing these different, you call them different lenses, so different aspects of being a team, right? Like you said, the structure of the work, how do we communicate with each other, also how do we communicate with stakeholders, what kind of relationship we have with the leaders around us. All of those things are about helping them to be maybe deliberate about how they work as a team within themselves and also with their surroundings. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, 100%. Like, that you got it right way. Like, that I asked them, whatever we are trying to do, we are trying to go towards deliberate practice. Like, say, for example, if we're going to define the 3 different kind of practices, naive practice, purposeful practice, and deliberate practice. So the naive practice, I call it anything that you do, say, for example, just walking, you're just doing it for the sake of doing it. And purposeful practice is where you have a goal in your mind. This is the one thing that I want to improve. If I want to run for a marathon, I know that I have to work on my stamina. So that's a purposeful practice. And then you talked about the deliberate practice, where you have a purpose in your mind. This is one thing that you need to improve, but you are taking coach's help so that he can strengthen your strengths and then help you find an alternative to your weaknesses so that you can move faster, you can achieve delivery faster, and then you can be a little bit more mature.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's also a great model, right? From naive to purposeful to deliberate. At the end of the day, that's what we are trying to help the teams to go towards, that deliberate practice so that they can reflect on and continuously improve. That was a great story and a great set of models to share. Thank you, Kamal.
Welcome.
Monday is about what we learn from our obstacles and our failures. But tomorrow is Team Tuesday here on the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. We explore teams and their journeys, the habits they develop that threaten their performance, how each of our guests helped their teams evolve, and the one key lesson they learned from that experience. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.